Welcome to Simply Pi Maths.
Okay, so in this sum, let's see what we have to do. So it says find the weight of each type of boxes. Again, our focus will be on the very last line to identify what should be my x and what should be my y. So in this sum, as you can see, it says find weight of each type of boxes. So let's see. So it says there are two type of boxes, A and B. So what I will say is let the weight of box A be x kg and weight of box B be y kg. So even before reading the entire sum, I will start my solution by saying that I will say let weight of box A be x kg. Since it is weight, we probably prefer using the word kg. And weight of box B be y kg. Simple as that. To start off with the sum, this was a very simple thing that I could do. Now if I read ahead, it says the capacity of the truck is 10 tons. So the truck having a capacity of 10 tons, that means this truck can fully accommodate 10 tons of goods inside the truck. Okay, so first of all, we have to understand what does this ton mean. So for your understanding, 1 ton, right? So just remember that 1 ton is nothing else but 1000 kg. Okay, so usually when we talk from a very big quantity, the truck full of loads will be probably counted in form of tons. But now when we come to the sum, my aim is to find the weight of just one box A and one box B. So for that, I might not need to use the unit as ton. Kilo should be sufficient for me, isn't it? So with that intention, what I will do is I will convert this ton into kilogram at the very first place. And I know that 1 ton means 1000 kg. So obviously 10 tons will be 10,000 kg, isn't it? So I will just call it out over here in the solution itself. I will say since 1 ton is equals to 1000 kg, therefore the 10 ton mentioned in this sum will be equal to 10,000 kg. Okay, now after writing this, let me just see. It says when 150 boxes, and then the sum goes ahead, right? So I will say according to first condition. So let's see what the first condition says. So it says when 150 boxes of A, 150 boxes of A means what? A box is of x kg. So 150 boxes means it will be 150x, isn't it? Right? So 150 boxes of A and 100 boxes of B. 100 boxes of B means what? B is y kg, so it will be 100y. So what is that? 100 boxes of B are loaded. It weighs 10 tons. Means what? When I add them together, the total weight will be 10 tons. Means 10,000. Okay, because I have written 10 ton is 10,000, so I can use the 10,000 over here. Clear till here? Now let's proceed ahead. Now they are adding one more line saying that but when 260 boxes, so it's the next condition ideally. So I will say I can number it as equation number 1, right, at the first place. But before that, let me think, can I simplify this a bit? Like, can I just simplify this by dividing by some number? Can I just give it a thought? Divide throughout by what? So my intention is to make this more simpler. This equation has very big numbers, right? So if I want to reduce them into some smaller numbers, what should be the number that I should be dividing this throughout the equation by? Can I divide it by 50? Because looking at 15, I just thought of the number 5 because 5 can cancel 15. And there are many zeros, and that is the reason why I am just putting a 0 over here. So it is becoming 50. So let me see how this will help me. So I will just do it mentally once. So when I divide this 150 by 50, what will this become like? 0 will get cancelled. 5 ones are 5 threes are. So ultimately I will be left with 3x, isn't it? So I have written we get, so I don't need to show this calculation to teacher. I will simply write 3x. I will write 3x. Now I am dividing throughout by 50, right? So this will also get divided by 50. So if you just do it mentally, 0 0 will get cancelled, 5 1s are, 5 2s are. So it will become 2y, and this will be a big one. Let me just do it in rough and then write the answer over there. 10,000 divided by 50, right? 0 zeros will get cancelled, 5 1s are, 5 2s are 10, and 2 zeros with them, so it will become 200. 200. Let me number it as equation number 1. And now I will jump on to the next condition. So I will just write over here according to second condition. So let's see what the second condition says. Let me read the sum from where I left it. So here, but when 260 boxes of A are loaded, that means in second condition it should begin from 260 boxes of A means 250x, right? Simple as that. Boxes of A means it is x, so it will be 260x. When 260 boxes of A are loaded, the truck can still accommodate 40 boxes of type B. That means I can still put 40 boxes of type B so that it is fully loaded. So the truck will be full. That means it will count up to 10 tons. Correct? So 260 boxes of A and 40 boxes of B will full the truck. Will means by putting this 40 boxes of type B, the truck will become completely occupied. That means the complete 10 tons will be satisfied. So it means nothing else but along with 260x, if I put 40 boxes of B, B means Y, right? Sorry, B means Y. 40 boxes of B, this will count up to 10 tons. Means the truck is fully loaded, means the complete weight will be 10 tons. Okay. So just one thing to note over here, this fully loaded is a word that might confuse us. So just remember, fully loaded means after putting this 40 boxes of B and 260 boxes of A, the truck is completely full. That means the complete 10 tons is being met, because that is what the capacity of the truck is, right? So for us mathematically it means when I add both of them, it should give me 10 tons. Okay. Again the same thing, I cannot number this because these are two big numbers, right? So let me just give it a thought. As in the previous equation I divided by 50, this time 50 will not suffice. I might have to think of some other number. Can you just give it a thought? Divide throughout by what? Did you think about 20? If so, that is the right answer, 20, because 26 is something that 2 can cancel. 4 is also something that 2 can cancel, and if I have an extra 0, these zeros will also get cancelled. Let's give it a try. Like, let's see what will happen when I divide 20 over here. So 0 0 will get cancelled, 2 1s are, 2 1s are, 3s are, so it will leave 13 for me, isn't it? So I will just put 13 over here, 13x. And if I divide 20 over here, zeros will get cancelled, 2 1s are, 2 2s are, so it will leave 2 for me. And if I divide this by 20, what will happen? Let me just see in rough. Like if I divide 10,000 by what? 20, right? So if I divide this by 20, 0 0 will get cancelled, 2 1s are, 2 5s are 10, 0 0, so it is nothing else but 500. So this is my equation number 2. Now I believe once I leave these two equations in front of you, you will be comfortable in solving them. Frankly speaking, here also I can see same term and same sign, so I suggest subtracting these two equations. And once you subtract them and once you put the obtained value of x in some equation, you will get the value of y as well. So ultimately, after doing all the solution, you will have the value of x and y with you. So I will directly grab the value of x and y and write over here. I believe you will be able to solve these equations. So if you solve and you will find the value of x and y, you will see the value of x coming out to be 30 and the value of y coming out to be 55. So ultimately you will wrap up your answer by saying, what was the question by the way? Find weight of each type of boxes, right? So you will say weight of box A is 30 kg and weight of box B is 55 kg. That's how your final answer will look like. Okay, so this is the next sum that we have with us, which is dependent on speed and time. So let's see how to solve this word problem using linear equation and two variables. Okay, so I would suggest you to just pause this video and just read through this complete word problem once, because I will just do a diagrammatical representation of this entire thing so that you can understand it better. Okay, so let me explain you this main sum in a diagrammatical way. So this diagram you don't have to draw an exam or anything, it is just for your understanding. So there is a guy called as Vishal. Let me just draw something like this. So there is a guy called as Vishal who was traveling from his from his home to his hometown, let's say. Okay, so this is his hometown over here, and this is the place where he works. Let's say his place where his office is. So on vacations he's planning to travel from his place of office to his hometown to meet his parents. Okay, and this entire distance that he needs to cover is 1900 kilometer. Clear till here? So Vishal is the guy who is traveling from his home location, probably his office location, to his hometown to meet his parents, and this complete route is of 1900 kilometer. So Vishal decides to travel some distance of this entire journey using bus. Okay, so he was planning to travel on bus, some distance by bus. I don't know exactly how much distance is it, but some distance he traveled in bus, and the remaining distance, whatever was there, he planned to travel in aeroplane. So let me say this as an aeroplane. Okay, so the remaining distance he planned to travel in aeroplane. So the question over here is, and they have added one more thing, that the speed of bus in this matter is 60 kilometer per hour. So this bus driver is driving the bus with the average speed of 60 kilometer per hour, whereas the pilot of this aeroplane is flying this aeroplane with the average speed of 700 kilometer per hour. So this is basically the speed with which the plane is flying or the bus driver is driving his bus. Clear till here? Now coming to the next point, that this entire journey was completed in 5 hours. It was completed in 5 hours. Now comes the question, like how much distance did Vishal travel in bus? That's it. Just one thing you have to find. Vishal, so if you see the last line, it says find the distance Vishal traveled by bus. So looking at this, obviously we will think of giving that distance he traveled by bus be x kilometer, isn't it? That will be the very first thought that might be coming into your mind, because that is something that you need to find, right? So you will simply start your solution saying that let the distance traveled in bus be x kilometers. Okay, so obviously we will think there should be something like y also, right? So rather than bus, what was the other medium of transport he had? Aeroplane. So let me say the remaining path which is there, that means the path that he covered via aeroplane be y kilometer, just to keep the balance. Like this is x kilometer, then the other part should be y kilometer, right? So let me say the distance traveled in aeroplane be y kilometer. So the thing to note over here is like the final answer that they need is just the distance he traveled by bus. That means I just need to find the value of x, that's it. So in this particular sum, we don't even have to hunt for the value of y. Only getting the value of x should be sufficient enough. Okay. So I just wrote like let x be the kilometer traveled by bus and y be the kilometer traveled by aeroplane. By looking at these x and y, can you form your very first equation over here? Any thought like how you can create an equation? So I will just write according to first condition. So let me just glance back to the main question also once. So the question begins by saying, out of 1900 kilometer, Vishal traveled some distance by bus and some distance by aeroplane. So the complete distance was 1900 kilometer, right? So that was the very first condition given to me. And in this complete distance, he is covering few like x kilometers by bus and y kilometers by aeroplane. So don't you think if I add both of them, that means x plus y should give me the complete distance, that is 1900? Correct? So according to first condition, I will say x and y when added together will give me 1900. This is my very first equation. Okay, so the complete distance was given to me, so I just thought of adding both of them and writing the complete distance as 1900 kilometer. So I simply wrote it in a mathematical way, right? X plus y is 1900, and that was the very first equation for me. In the similar way, the complete time is also given to me. If you see, 5 hours. So let's say by any hook and crook, if I identify the time he traveled in bus and the time he traveled in aeroplane, I know that if I add both the time, the total time will be 5 hours. So now my main job will be to identify what is the time he traveled in bus and what is the time he traveled in aeroplane, so that I can again form a new equation saying that time plus this time is nothing else but 5 hours. So my now next job is to find the time he traveled in bus and the time he traveled in aeroplane. So in order to find the time, we have a formula in science, if you remember. Ideally, it's not the formula for time, rather it is the formula for speed. So I will just say speed is equals to what? Distance upon time. This is a very famous formula, you might remember. So now we are more interested towards time, right? So in order to rephrase this complete formula in terms of time, what should I do? I will send this time over here and I will bring this speed over here. So it will become, therefore time is equals to distance over here and speed in the denominator. Okay, so guys, like this is the main formula which will give me, like, what is the formula by the way? Time is equals to distance upon speed. So this will help me in identifying the time he traveled in bus and the time he traveled in aeroplane. Let's see how. So I will say therefore the time traveled in bus. So let me just try to write the value of time traveled in bus. So I know what is the formula for time. It is distance upon speed. What is the distance he traveled by bus? Let me write it over here. And below, what should I write? The speed he traveled in bus. So that two things ka division will give me the time traveled in bus, isn't it? Because that is a formula for time. So now let me go back and see what is the distance and what is the speed in bus. So the distance is nothing else but x. And what is the speed, by the way? 60 kilometer per hour. So x is the distance and 60 kilometer per hour is the speed. So what I will do is I will write the distance x in the numerator and the speed 60 in the denominator. Simple as that. Similarly, I will say the time traveled in what? Aeroplane. So let me see the time traveled in aeroplane. So the same thing, distance and speed should come over here. So now let me hunt for aeroplane's distance and speed. What is aeroplane's distance? It is y kilometer. And what is the speed? 700 kilometer per hour. So I will just write those two things over here. So y and 700. So now the thing to understand over here is these things that we are writing over here, right? These are nothing else but what? The time traveled and the time traveled, isn't it? But I know what is the total time traveled? 5 hours. So that means if I add these two things, it should lead to the answer of 5, alright? So that means what? Therefore, according to second condition is about the time which is written in the sum, isn't it? So it says over here that if it takes 5 hours to complete the journey, that means 5 hours is the next condition given to us. So I know the time for each of them, like bus and aeroplane. So what I will do is I will just put this x upon 60 first. So this is the time taken in bus, and y upon 700, that is the time taken in aeroplane. And I will say these both, if I add the times, it will give me 5 hours. Simple as that. Now last but not the least, I cannot number this as equation number 2. The reason is because there are some numbers standing below, right? So I will have to do something with these numbers. What I can do over here, rather I can think of some number to multiply throughout by, or else what we can do is we can simply do a cross multiplication. So cross multiplication means what? 700 over here, so it will become something like 700x. 60 over here, it will become 60y, and in the denominator basically they will get multiplied to each other, right? 6 sevens are 42, and 42 along with 42 we will put 3 zeros is equals to 5. And in order to wrap up, I will have to send this 42,000 over here and multiply it. So let me just write it like 700x 60y is equals to 5 times. I can write it over here also, right, just for visibility purpose. So I will say what 700x plus 60y is equals to 5 times what? 5 times this 42,000. Okay, so this is nothing else but 700x plus 60y is equals to, if I multiply these numbers, what should I get? I will anyways get 3 zeros, that is for sure. 5 2s are 10, 0, 1 carry, 5 4s are 20 plus 1, 21. Isn't it? Now I can number this as equation number 2, but I thought of just dividing all of them by some number so that it can be a bit smaller number. Any thought? Divide throughout by any such number. Divide throughout by what? Any thoughts? We get, I suggest 20 is the best number to think of. Rather than thinking of anything else, 20 is the best number, because 20 will cancel, anyways the zeros will get cancelled with the 0, and 2 will cancel the remaining numbers. Let's see what will this become, by the way. If I divide this by 20, let's give it a thought. Just a moment. Yeah, so I will divide this by 20. So if I divide this by 20, what will this give me? 0 0 will get cancelled. 2 1s are 2, 3s are 6, 7 1 carry, 2 5s are 10. So it will become 35, isn't it? 35. So let me just write like this. So this will ultimately give me 35x. This will be a simpler one. If I divide this by 20, 0 0 will get cancelled, and 2 1s are 2 3s are. It will become 3y equals to. Now this is something that you need to be careful about. That is 21 and 4 zeros are there. You are dividing it by 20. Let me just do it somewhere over here in rough work to show you more clearly. So what you are going to do now, 21 with 4 zeros, you are going to divide it by what? You are going to divide it by 20, isn't it? So let's see what will that give me. So if you divide this by 20, right, see, first of all the zeros will get cancelled, that is for sure. Now by cancelling with 2, be very careful. 2 1s are, if you cancel this number, right, 2 1s are 2. Now if you will think like this is 10, right, so shall I write 2 5s are 10? You can, but the thing is, since you are taking two numbers together, you should put a 0 over here, and then you should say 2 5s are 10. Okay, so in cancellation, in between, if you are planning to pick up two numbers together in order to write like 2 5s are 10, make sure that you are putting one 0 in between, and then you write 2 5s are 10, and then the remaining 2 zeros as it is. So what you will be left with? 10,500. Okay, so let me just write it over here, 10,500. And this is my next equation number 2. So I thought of just keeping it on the same page because it is more visible. So if you see here, it was my equation number 1, and here it is my equation number 2, this one. So now you can solve these two equations using any of the methods that we have, and you can find the value of x. For your convenience, I will just call out the value of x that you might get. It is 150. So I will just write it over here. The final value of x that you will receive is 150, then don't find the value of y, okay, because that is not needed at the first place, because what we all need is like just the value of x, because x is nothing else but what, the distance that he traveled by bus, and that was something that I need to find also, right? Find the distance Vishal traveled by bus. So once you get the value of x as 150, you should end up your answer saying that therefore the distance Vishal traveled by bus is 150 kilometers.